Vegetarianism, the practice of abstaining from meat consumption, has a rich and complex history spanning millennia. Often perceived as a modern dietary trend, vegetarianism's roots reach far back into antiquity, intricately interwoven with religious beliefs, ethical philosophies, and cultural practices. From the ancient civilizations of India and Greece to its resurgence in the Renaissance and its widespread adoption in modern times, vegetarianism has continually resurfaced throughout history. This enduring practice, far from being a passing fad, reflects a fundamental human concern for ethical living and harmonious coexistence with the natural world. The history of vegetarianism offers a fascinating lens through which we can explore evolving attitudes towards animals, the environment, and the very nature of our place within the web of life. This exploration takes us on a journey through time, tracing the vegetarian thread through different cultures and historical periods. We will delve into the ancient wisdom of India, where the concept of Ahimsa, or non-violence towards all living beings, laid the groundwork for a deeply rooted vegetarian tradition. We will then venture into the philosophical schools of ancient Greece, where thinkers like Pythagoras grappled with the ethical implications of diet and its impact on both individual and societal well-being. Our journey begins in the Indian subcontinent, where vegetarianism found fertile ground in the ancient traditions of Hinduism and Jainism. These spiritual philosophies emphasize the interconnectedness of all life forms. The concept of Ahimsa promotes a profound respect for all living creatures. The Vedas advocate for a vegetarian diet, recognizing the divine essence in all beings. The cow holds a sacred status in Hinduism, its slaughter considered a grave sin. Jainism takes Ahimsa to an even higher level with a strict vegetarian diet. Across the ancient world, in the bustling philosophical centers of Greece, vegetarianism found a different but equally compelling expression. Pythagoras, the renowned mathematician and philosopher, stands out as a prominent advocate for a meat-free lifestyle. His followers adopted a vegetarian diet, emphasizing ethical responsibility towards all living creatures. Empedocles, a philosopher and poet, also advocated for vegetarianism, emphasizing compassion for all beings. Ancient India stands out as a beacon of vegetarianism, deeply intertwined with its spiritual traditions. The concept of Ahimsa, meaning non-violence, forms the bedrock of this ethic, permeating Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism. This principle found its fullest expression in food choices, with vegetarianism emerging as a natural consequence. Animals were revered as sacred beings, with the cow attaining a particularly elevated status. Emperor Ashoka embraced Ahimsa, establishing hospitals for animals and banning sacrifices. Jainism stands out for its unwavering commitment to Ahimsa, taking the principle to its most rigorous interpretation. Non-violence guides every thought, word, and action. All living beings possess a soul capable of experiencing pain and suffering. This belief translates into strict vegetarianism, with many practicing veganism. They avoid even unintentional harm to insects, often wearing masks. Jain scriptures emphasize the karmic consequences of violence. By embracing Ahimsa, Jains strive to purify their souls and attain liberation. They advocate for environmental protection, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life forms. Hinduism embraces vegetarianism as an ideal, though not always a strict requirement. The Vedas advocate for a vegetarian diet, recognizing the divine essence in all beings. The Mahabharata highlights the ethical and spiritual benefits of vegetarianism. Karma shapes attitudes towards diet and animal welfare. Actions create karmic consequences, influencing one's life and rebirths. The cow is sacred, symbolizing motherhood and spiritual purity. Vegetarianism is deeply respected, especially among Brahmins and spiritual seekers. In ancient Greece, vegetarian thought thrived in bustling philosophical schools. Pythagoras, a key figure, linked diet and ethics, emphasizing harmony and spiritual purification. He believed in a cosmic order, connecting all life, influencing dietary choices. For Pythagoreans, abstaining from meat was a moral imperative, reflecting cosmic harmony. They saw animals as possessing a soul, advocating for kindness and compassion. Pythagoreans believed in the transmigration of souls, meaning souls could move between humans and animals after death. They thought that when someone died, their soul could be reborn in an animal's body. This idea created a sense of connection between all living beings. Eating meat was seen as risky because it might mean eating a soul that was once human. To them, eating meat was like eating another person, breaking sacred bonds. While Pythagoras and his followers stand out as prominent advocates for vegetarianism in ancient Greece, they were not alone in their concern for the ethical treatment of animals. Other schools engaged in lively debates about the moral status of animals, the justification for meat consumption, and the potential benefits of a meat-free diet. Empedocles emerged as a vocal critic of animal sacrifice, believing animals possessed a soul and experienced pain. Plato explored the ethical dimensions of diet in his Republic, suggesting a meat-free diet was conducive to a peaceful society. The Cynics embraced a simple diet, often excluding meat, reflecting their commitment to self-sufficiency and simplicity. While vegetarianism never gained widespread acceptance in ancient Greek society, the philosophical debates surrounding it left an indelible mark on Western thought. The arguments by Pythagoras, Empedocles, and Plato challenged the anthropocentric worldview, suggesting humans were not the sole possessors of moral worth. The Orphics, a religious sect, embraced vegetarianism, believing it purified the body and soul. The Pythagorean emphasis on the interconnectedness of life resonated with some Greek mystery cults, incorporating vegetarianism into their rituals. These ideas, though often marginalized, represent an important chapter in the history of vegetarianism. With the rise of Christianity, the philosophical underpinnings of vegetarianism began to fade. Christian theology emphasized human dominion over nature, overshadowing earlier Greek concerns for animals. Meat consumption became normalized, woven into everyday life and religious practice. The story of Genesis was often interpreted as a justification for utilizing animals for human needs. The decline of vegetarianism also reflected broader social and economic changes, including the collapse of the Roman Empire. Vegetarianism found refuge within monasteries, where monks sought spiritual enlightenment through a disciplined lifestyle. Many monastic orders, including the Benedictines, adopted rules limiting or prohibiting meat consumption. Fish often escaped these restrictions, maintaining a source of protein while adhering to ascetic principles. Some orders viewed abstinence from meat as honoring the sanctity of all life. Despite its presence in monastic communities, vegetarianism remained largely absent from mainstream medieval society. The decline of vegetarianism in Europe also reflected a broader shift in attitudes towards animals. A hierarchical worldview, influenced by Christian theology, placed humans at the apex of creation. Animals were viewed primarily as instruments for human use, lacking inherent moral worth. This anthropocentric worldview permeated medieval literature, art, and philosophy. Without a strong moral foundation recognizing animal sentience, vegetarianism struggled to gain traction beyond monastic life. The Renaissance ushered in a period of renewed interest in classical learning, art, and philosophy. Humanism emphasized human reason, ethics, and the pursuit of knowledge, sparking debates about the nature of the good life. This intellectual ferment created fertile ground for reconsidering beliefs about animals and human-animal relations. The invention of the printing press played a pivotal role in disseminating these ideas. This newfound access to knowledge fostered a spirit of critical inquiry about humanity's place in the natural world. The Renaissance saw a resurgence of interest in the natural world, fueled by scientific observation. Leonardo da Vinci's detailed anatomical drawings of animals challenged the view of animals as mere machines. This appreciation for the natural world extended to art and literature, with artists like Albrecht Dürer capturing the grace of animals. Writers like Michel de Montaigne questioned human superiority and argued for a more compassionate understanding of animals. Montaigne's writings planted the seeds for a more egalitarian view of the natural world. The Renaissance provided fertile ground for the re-emergence of vegetarian ideas. The writings of ancient Greek philosophers found new life in the hands of Renaissance scholars. Leonardo da Vinci, a vegetarian, expressed his compassion for animals in his writings and lifestyle. Da Vinci envisioned a future where humans lived in harmony with nature. While vegetarianism remained a minority viewpoint, the seeds of change were sown for future generations. The Age of Enlightenment breathed new life into the vegetarian cause. Enlightenment thinkers began to question the ethics of meat consumption and recognize the worth of all living beings. John Locke's ideas on natural rights laid the groundwork for extending rights to non-human animals. Jean-Jacques Rousseau emphasized compassion and empathy in shaping a just society. Rousseau argued that a deep respect for nature would foster compassion and reduce violence. The 19th century saw the crystallization of vegetarianism into a more organized social movement. Rapid industrialization and social reform created fertile ground for vegetarian societies. The first vegetarian society in the Western world was founded in England in 1847. The Vegetarian Society promoted the benefits of vegetarianism and attracted members from across England. They published cookbooks, pamphlets, and journals, spreading awareness and advocating for social change. The 20th century witnessed a dramatic shift in vegetarianism, transitioning from a fringe movement to a mainstream dietary choice. This transformation was driven by ethical concerns for animals and the environmental impact of meat production. Vegetarianism gained greater acceptance, becoming integrated into modern society. As we enter the 21st century, vegetarianism stands as a vibrant and multifaceted global movement, encompassing a wide range of motivations, dietary practices, and cultural expressions. From the ancient traditions of India to the bustling vegan restaurants of modern metropolises, vegetarianism has transcended geographical boundaries and cultural differences, uniting individuals around a shared commitment to a more compassionate, just, and sustainable world. The rise of veganism, a stricter form of vegetarianism that excludes all animal products, including dairy, eggs, and honey, marks a significant development within the broader vegetarian movement. Veganism, often motivated by a deep concern for animal rights and a rejection of all forms of animal exploitation, has gained increasing visibility and mainstream acceptance in recent years, driven by a combination of ethical, environmental, and health concerns. The internet and social media have played a transformative role in connecting vegans and vegetarians around the world, creating online communities for sharing information, recipes, and support. Social media platforms have become powerful tools for raising awareness about animal welfare issues, promoting vegan businesses and products, and advocating for policy changes that align with vegetarian values. Vegetarianism, once seen as a dietary choice, has evolved into a multifaceted lifestyle choice encompassing ethical consumerism, environmental activism, and a commitment to social justice. Vegetarians and vegans are increasingly using their voices and their purchasing power to advocate for a more compassionate and sustainable world, one plate at a time. Vegetarianism in the 21st century and beyond. As we stand at the cusp of a new era marked by unprecedented technological advancements, the ancient practice of vegetarianism emerges as a powerful force shaping the future of food. The 21st century has witnessed a remarkable surge in vegetarianism and veganism, driven by ethical, environmental, and health concerns. No longer confined to the margins, vegetarianism has entered the mainstream, embraced by celebrities, athletes, and everyday individuals. Plant-based diets have exploded in popularity, fueled by innovative culinary creations and readily available alternatives. The world is increasingly catering to a population seeking to align their food choices with their values. Section 2. The intersectionality of vegetarianism, a lens for social and environmental justice. The modern vegetarian movement embraces social, environmental, and animal welfare issues, recognizing our food choices' far-reaching consequences. Factory farming is cruel to animals and a major contributor to climate change, deforestation, and water pollution. Livestock production is responsible for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The land required for livestock is a leading driver of deforestation, especially in the Amazon. The water needed for livestock depletes aquifers and contributes to water scarcity. Factory farming impacts marginalized communities with pollution and health issues. Embracing a more compassionate and sustainable future. The history of vegetarianism shows our capacity for compassion and making choices that align with our values. Shifting to plant-based eating is a practical solution for a healthier, more sustainable world. This choice is personal, influenced by ethical, environmental, health, and cultural factors. Our shared commitment is to reduce our impact, promote animal welfare, and create a just food system. This transition requires systemic change in agriculture, food policies, and our relationship with nature. We need sustainable farming practices and investment in plant-based foods. Section 4. Cultivating a more compassionate and delicious future. The journey towards a more plant-based world is not about deprivation or sacrifice. It is about embracing the abundance, diversity, and deliciousness that the plant kingdom has to offer. It is about rediscovering the joy of cooking and sharing food that nourishes our bodies, delights our senses, and aligns with our values. It is about creating a food system that is kind to animals, gentle on the planet, and just for all. As we move forward, let us draw inspiration from the rich history of vegetarianism, from the ancient wisdom of Ahimsa to the Enlightenment ideals of reason and compassion, from the pioneers who founded the first vegetarian societies to the activists and everyday individuals working to create a more just and sustainable world. Let us approach this journey with open hearts, open minds, and a willingness to challenge our assumptions and embrace new possibilities. The future of food is in our hands, and it is up to us to create a culinary landscape that reflects our deepest values and nourishes a more compassionate and sustainable world for generations to come.